Everyone gets a new dashboard. Ish.
I Let's just call this what it is, Brad. Dashboard theater.
Yeah, this is definitely a moving of the deck chair icons into smaller packages, but not really changing
This
much.
this is exactly what happened with the Xbox One, where they tried and tried and tried. This is a game that, or a machine that can play the fastest 3D games on on a console, and for some reason can't build a dashboard. It's just like a simple 2D space. It works well. So I don't know, but in the Xbox One, they tried and tried and tried, and they failed. And eventually, they were like, "All right, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to make it take less steps to get to where you want to go. That's the way we're going to make it faster." And that's what they're doing now. They're just like, let's arrange squares around. And I don't understand why this is difficult.
I don't
What are
know.
people doing with this thing?
Well, they wanted to change it, so they changed it, but they didn't add HDR support, which makes.
Good to Brett, please. We're lucky it has color at this point. This
Anyways,
is like
if you have
12,
an
1280 by
Xbox,
720 or something.
go turn it on because you'll download an update and you'll have it. And then you can experience the same thing you experienced, honestly, yesterday, but
Yeah,
slightly
just
different icon
slightly
sizes.
different. Yeah, fun,
So, uh,
fun.
EU is ratcheting up their issues with Teams. I think everyone kind of saw this coming as soon as they opened the probe, and now it feels like it's moving on to the next steps. And
Yeah, it is.
so,
Um, yeah, this I think this should be looked at. I'm not
yeah,
saying that Microsoft is violating any antitrust laws or anything like that, but look, Activision Blizzard should have been looked at, and the EU eventually did the right thing there. This one, I'm not. I don't. I need to look at this more. I don't know.
this one feels more cagey than like other things that have been going on.
Well,
Bundling has always been a dicey thing.
that's
So
right.
that's
I guess yeah. It depends on. I don't know what it depends on the market here. I mean,
mm-hmm.
Europe interestingly has been, in a minor sense, kind of a hotbed of office alternative, experimentation, right? Governments like Munich
Mm-hmm.
and other elsewhere have tried using whatever LibreOffice, OpenOffice, whatever it's been. My understanding is those efforts have been largely unsuccessful, but you don't really hear about it a lot, and you certainly don't hear about it a lot elsewhere, maybe outside of Russia or something. But I I don't know what to say. So Office, whatever, however we want to define Office, I think it's fair to say it's dominant.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, so does Microsoft need to play by different rules? Maybe. But I guess the problem I have with this is Microsoft has added new apps and features to Office for years.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
does this one, like this one became popular and now it's a problem? Like
Yeah.
I
Well,
I
I
mean,
don't.
I
We
don't know. How do we? I don't know. I guess just someone complained, right?
Yeah, Slack. I mean, Slack complained naturally. That's
No, I know it's not complaint, but I guess what I'm saying is maybe the difference between this and the other features Microsoft has bundled in
oh yeah,
Office comes down to someone complained at Slack.
yeah. And it honestly just could be that they took a big enough market because I mean they've launched things like Bookings. I think is a new one because we use that at work more recently, and there's other services that do that, but I don't.
Okay.
None of them are as big as what Teams has become. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to look at the complaint today and probably write something up based on what I see. But big tech needs to be regulated. It's right for regulators to look at this.
sure,
We'll see what happens. And right now, I just don't have enough information
yeah,
to say like what they're doing is stupid or good or whatever. I don't really know.
yeah. And we're years away from anything really being
Yeah,
probably decided. So
sure. Well, I'll be using Apple Pages by then anyway, so who cares?
yeah, I worked making a comeback, Paul. That's where you know it's another
Pro-
interesting one. It's sort of
yeah.
this doesn't go in Microsoft's favor is actually Notion, which we both use. And then Microsoft's like, oh, that thing's getting some traffic. Let's build Loop. Like,
Yeah, but you know what? You know this. I mean, anyone in the Microsoft space kind of knows this. Teams was released and then updated in such a regimental fashion with such alacrity that you could tell, even Microsoft knew this was central to them going
mhm.
forward, right? This
Yep.
was a big thing. uh, Loop is it's like it was managed by a cage full of monkeys. They don't have no idea. Like, is it out? Is it? I don't even. I have it on my phone. Half the time,
Yeah.
it gives me error messages. Like, I don't. I fully intend or expect to one day move to Loop because it's OneDrive integration and all that stuff. And it just doesn't seem to be going anywhere. I don't know what's going on. They've been talking about this for like 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's an interesting difference there in how those two products have come to market, and how it's obvious from the outside that Microsoft perceives their respective importance.
Yeah. I mean, actually,
So,
here's a decent comparable. Teams came to market the same way Microsoft's bringing AI to market. It's like, it
yeah,
feels like it's a company initiative.
explosively, exactly. Yep.
And Loop
exactly.
is a thing
And
that
actually,
they're launching, but
so this is all stuff I should be writing this down. This is all stuff I need to really think about and write about and investigate. But the other big thing about Teams that we shouldn't forget is, yes, Teams exist because of Slack. This is let's not get all our panties in a bunch here, folks. That's how competition works. That's Apple's playbook. Oh, something exists. People seem to like it. Can we do better than that? Yes, we'll release an iPod then. Like that kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, the first version of Teams was. I'm suddenly, by the way, a daily Slack user now. This is a recent development, but because of some of the partners we have, and at least two of them use Slack, so I use Slack. So I use Slack, and it's like, whatever, it's fine. You could probably make an argument that V1 of Teams was a lot like Slack.
yeah.
You could not make that argument today. Teams is a blown whatever platform. It's an apps platform. It's much bigger, and I mean that in every sense, broader in scope than Slack. So, yeah, this is like comparing an electric bicycle to a Tesla. Yes, they're both vehicles. Yes, they're both electric. But Teams is the Tesla in this version. It does so much more.
The one thing Microsoft will have going for it, again, the complaints aren't fully filed, so there's a lot to still happen, is that Teams wasn't a new concept. They had Link, they had Skype, like they've had messaging apps. They just weren't the central core to Microsoft's sort of productivity hub. So,
yeah, that's fair. And then, yeah, Skype for Business. I guess Skype for Business came out of Link, is what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sure. Right. I mean, I think the central complaint that Slack had, and now Slack is part of Salesforce, right? But was literally, but you were going to buy us, and it's like, it's not like Microsoft went to Slack and said, hey, show us the secret sauce, because there is no secret sauce. You can see it in the app. You don't need to talk to them. It's not like there was some, intellectual property or something that Microsoft stole. I don't know, dude. Listen, what's it? Loop is so many stupid names here. Loop is such more of a bald-faced ripoff of Notion from a UX perspective than Teams ever was of Slack.
True.
It's not even close.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know. I don't want to talk myself into this is stupid, because honestly, like I said, I need to look at this more closely. But I think the big thing we need to communicate here, we already did, which is they're right to look at this.
Yeah,
they should look at it.
They should.
Point, right?
Microsoft's a $1 trillion company. Did they muscle other people out of the market and reduce competition because they hold a dominant position? That is a very fair question to ask.
I think there's also just a remedy here that makes sense, which is something Microsoft proposed and I guess didn't go far enough with, which is just debundle it, or make the versions that do include Teams a little more expensive. It's a tough thing because Teams now has, I don't know what the number is, 300 million, some 100 million, whatever users. You can't just like take it away. I guess you could go back and say, hey, sorry, we got to charge a little bit more for this.
Well, my gut would tell me is what they do is, let's just say you're paying $10 a month, just easy numbers. They say, look, you're now in 2 subscriptions. You have a $5 Teams one, you have a $5 everything else.
That's right.
And then, of course, over time, they'll be like, yeah, that's fine. We're breaking even. Over time, like, you know what? Teams is now $6 a month. Like, now they have 2 things to play with. It's actually a win for Microsoft.
Yeah, right. So, geez, though. I mean, free bundling to gain users is like the IE playbook, which should cause a little bit of a twitch in anybody who follows Microsoft. But, and then I guess the difference here is that they would start charging for it. But they charge for Teams Premium. They could just have tiers of Teams, I guess.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to. I don't want to talk myself into a position here. There's a lot. There's a lot to discuss. I think
Well, there's not a lot of us.
it's too much of us, really.
Probably.